Thank you, Chair. I'm going to share my thoughts on climate change action policy for urban development and cities on behalf of Ms. Rukmani, Director, International Cooperation, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. A roadmap for sustainable development free from hunger and poverty, along with safe and resilient cities, are the broad objectives that India has chosen to pursue. India's commitment to environment and climate change, made at the highest political level, shows the global way in supporting sustainable development goals. India has strengthened its response to the threat of climate change in accordance with the principles of common but differentiated responsibilities, and in the light of national circumstances, with the Paris Pledge to reduce emission intensity of GDP by 33 to 35% over 2005 levels by 2030. International support would greatly facilitate the pathway towards low carbon and climate resilient cities development. India also looks forward to international cooperation on the development, deployment, and commercialization of sustainable and climate-friendly technologies in renewable as well as conventional sources to facilitate urban development in a sustainable manner. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, once said, "A time is coming when those who are in the mad rush today of multiplying their wants, vainly thinking that they add to the real substance, real knowledge of the world, will retrace their steps and say, 'What have we done?'" It is only appropriate that on 2nd October 2016, on his birth anniversary, India ratified the Paris Agreement on climate change. The emission and intensity of India's GDP has also been reduced by 12% between 2005 and 10. According to India's first biennial update report communicated to UNFCCC. And this has been possible on account of a number of policy measures undertaken to address climate change and sustainable urban development concerns. As a responsible country, it has delivered on its commitments and is well on track to achieve the ambitious climate goals and actions by 2020. At the national level, the roadmap for implementation of India's nationally determined goals is being prepared by constituting an implementation committee and 6 subcommittees. The committees are working to elaborate their respective indices, goals, and identify specific policies and actions aimed at achieving them. Also, India has reaffirmed its commitment to the environment and climate change at the highest political level. India has positioned itself as a sustainable leader, and we are aware that we need to have a rational approach that balances environment, climate, economic development along with urban development. Let me give you a few statistics on urbanization. As we all are aware, we are 31% urban, which means it's the rural mass which is still dominating. Although this 1/3 urban population is providing over 2/3 of the GDP. And if you look at the last census, we find that the number of cities have really increased. It's not that our pace of urbanization has increased, but we have added 2,530 new census towns, which were in the previous decade all villages. That means there is sectoral diversification taking place in our economy, which really means that rural areas are coming, not rural people are coming, but rural centers are transforming into urban centers, which really means that the carbon footprint is going to increase in the future years. And we are also at a stage of development that requires to grow at a fast rate and lift a number of our people who are below poverty line. And energy deprivation levels for a sizable proportion of population remains at high levels. While the 17 SDGs and the 169 related targets have been globally adopted, each nation has been given a flexibility to develop indicators. We in India, at the NITI Aayog, we have been assigned the role of overseeing the implementation of SDGs, and the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation is evolving the related national indicators. The National Action Plan on Climate Change has been launched in 2008, which also has 8 submissions under it. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has launched flagship missions, as was discussed a little while ago, like the Smart Cities Amrut, Hriday, Housing for all of which emphasizes on adoption of climate adaptation strategies at the city level for ensuring sustainable urban development in the 8,000 odd cities and towns in the country. And I strongly believe that this EU partnership will largely facilitate the Indian urban centers in achieving its desired goals of sustainable development. Thank you.